Welcome. Let's talk about the Kaos Strength Promotions under 90 kg Classic. Could this be the biggest weight class show in history of strongman? It certainly is going to be the biggest in the UK that's ever been. So let's talk about what's happening. So we've got the £4,700 prize pot already. We've got all the sponsors involved. We've got ADL covering it in terms of live stream. We've got confirmed athletes from all over the globe: Australia, USA, UK. Let's have a look at who we have confirmed already. So already we have Tyler Davis, so recently crowned at the official Strongman Games World's Strongest Man. And he came just off the back of winning Ultimate Strongman World. So he's a double world champion within 2022. He also won USS Nationals in 2022. So do you think somebody can beat Tyler? We have Dan Benson, confirmed from the UK. So Dan Benson recently this year, he set the deadlift world record of 382 kilos. Dan Benson finished 6th place at OSG this year, but if anybody watched it closely, they may remember that Dan had a good shot at winning on the stones. It was so close. If you look back at the scores going into the stones at under 90 OSG, Tyler Davis obviously took the win. Brilliant. But there was Dan that was very close. There was Narimu that was very close. There was Leroy who was close by. So very, very close. He won England's Strongest Man in 2020. He was looking really good this year. I fancied him to win going into the stones personally. So we have Leroy. In 2021, he came 5th at World's Strongest Man. A bit of a surprise package last year at OSG. Surprised a lot of people, apart from me, really, because I was always excited to see him on the world stage, to be honest. Like, he was just such a well-rounded athlete that's been chipping away for years and years, and just one of those people that's got to that wanted to get to a high level before kind of competing internationally, wanted to feel like he could go there and make a statement, and that's exactly what he's done. So last year, before his performance at OSG Worlds, people may have known him for setting the dumbbell world record, whereas actually he proved last year at OSG Worlds that he's an all-round contender, and he was so close to getting on the podium last year. And then this year, again, he came very, very, very close to winning overall. So absolutely brilliant athlete. Much like Dan, like I picked them both to be pushing for the podium, and they didn't quite make it this year. But just all round athletes. They're both brilliant at deadlift, both fantastic at dumbbell, which was obviously at OSG Worlds this year. Great, really explosive at loading stones, good at heavy stones, fast for moving events, enduring for medleys and stuff like that. So yeah, great all-round athletes. So we have Lee Shaw that's been confirmed. Again, this is going to be so exciting to see how they all fare against each other, the guys that I've mentioned so far. So Lee finished 3rd at 2017 SEL Worlds, 1st overall at 2018 Arnold Australia, and 2nd at under 90 Australia Strongest Man. So it's going to be exciting to see how he gets on. Mike Dell, again, he is, for me, a surprise package, actually, because obviously I can go off what people have done domestically and knowing people really well in the under 90 scene in the UK. I was magnificently surprised at how and impressed at how well he did last year, 2021 OSG, and then this year he's gone and improved again. So absolutely fantastic to finish in the top 10 at OSG Worlds under 90s. So it's going to be brilliant to see how he gets on. Mark Cummins, again, another one of the under 19 guys from the UK. He's got a lot of solid events. If there's a yoke in there, if there's stones, heavy stones, like he's just solid all around. So it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. Then we've got CJ Kraus. He's just won, like he's known as an under 80 guy, but he came on the podium at Clash, first pro show in the US earlier in the year. He's made the final of OSG the last 2 years. He stepped up a weight class to the under 90s to do the UK Clash qualifier recently as an under 90, and he won outright. So it's going to be he's earned his shot and he's earned his place against the other under 90 guys. So yeah, that's going to be exciting to see, and really excited to see how the top guys from different weight classes really do against each other. It's really exciting seeing these big personalities potentially going against each other. So on the same kind of principle, I've seen that Matt McKeegan's been invited for the under 90 show, and Matt has proved himself as one of the best under 105 athletes in the world. So if it, like, providing that he can make weight, which I'm sure the professional that he is and his background in nutrition, fat loss, bodybuilding, etc., that he'll have no problem doing that. But it will be how he performs when he gets down to that weight, which in theory, like, should be really exciting to see. But obviously it's impossible to see how people are going to fare against the guys that are there competing at 90 already. So yeah, I'm massively excited to see this. And another person I'm excited to see coming from the other way is going up from the 80s is Ben Donen, and he's been absolutely unbelievable in this last year, considering I'm not sure where he finished at OSG 2021. I think it was about well, it was lower than me, put it that way. I think I was about 17th, 18th, and he was lower down. And he's gone and he's just had an absolutely ridiculous year. So he won Clash World Champion under 80s. At the Clash show, he set the axle world record. He set the deadlift world record recently under 80, 360 kilos at 80. So 4.5 times body weight is just mind blowing for me as a competitive weight class athlete. Is just absolutely ridiculous. And then he's gone and beaten the dumbbell record, the dumbbell world record that I set in June, where I set a record of 100 kilos that was just such an impressive lift at the time, which it still is, but such like a monumental kind of thing that he's gone and improved by an extra 5% is just ridiculous. And it looked like he could have probably done more. So he's just an absolute phenom. He's won worlds. The exciting thing about Ben is, I suppose, as a geeky coach and athlete, it's brilliant to see people who are explosive and then like have a really good deadlift, which obviously he does. They're phenomenal at overhead. But the thing is with Ben, what's so impressive and so exciting is that his moving events are possibly even better than what his static stuff is. But I just feel that as a community, we're so excited about, like, say, max lifts, and max yoke for 20 meters doesn't seem to get the kind of recognition that, say, a max axle or whatever could get. That, I don't know. But basically, I'm saying that I find him phenomenally impressive. You watch him, like, say, move with farmers, frame, yoke, or whatever. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So I'm so excited to see how he'll fare against the best under 90s. Yeah, so they're the people that I've seen so far announced. So who else would you like to see? So let me know in the comments who would you like to see invited? What events would you like to see? Would you like to see maxes? Would you like to see world records going for? Would you like to see, say, Benson and Donin going for, I don't know, they both want to pull 400 next year? Like, could this be the show that they pull 400 at? Or would you prefer to see exciting head-to-heads, like multi-lane events? Would you like to see 4 lanes of all these top guys racing on like frame and yoke and whatever, or a medley? What would you like to see? Who else would you like to see invited? Who would you like to see compete against the guys that I've just mentioned so far? I'm thinking, like, would you like to see, like, Narimu, who won Worlds the previous year? Who would you like to see any of the under 80s step up? Like, would you, like, how would Richard Panganiban, Tommy Lavelle fare? What about D McVie? Would you like to see D McVie in this mix? He's already shown that he's a brilliant under 90 athlete in terms of winning Scotland's strongest man. What about any 105s? Would you like to see any 105s who are going to be motivated to cut weight? Like, if, say, Matt McKeegan's convinced that he's one of the top 105s in the world, but why is he doing the under 90 show? Because there's prestige. There's 4,700 pounds already, and it's growing. And hopefully, people watching this video, you can share it to people. Let's get more sponsors involved that are going directly to the athletes, and let's get the best athletes there. Let's this how the sport's going to improve massively as a whole. Like, yeah, let's get the best people. Why don't we get some people out of retirement who haven't been motivated to still train and still train as hard? You know, like people like, what about, say, Lee Osmond? Lee Osmond's a brilliant under 90 athlete that we haven't seen compete at the top level for a while. Why could this be something that gets him back into it? What about the Dragon? What about Shane German? Like, he's doing brilliant as a coach and whatever, but do we want to see him put his money where his mouth is? Like all these lifts on Instagram and that. Like, why don't we see him do it on the dance floor? I want to see it. Like, I believe he can do it. Like, he's got no excuse. He's got no excuses. He's like, he doesn't need a visa to get to Lytham. Do we want to see Shane there? Who else is there? Like, say, what about Cal Crozier, who is what did he win under 90 Scotland's last year or the year before? And obviously he's pushing the opens now. He's done 127 dumbbell this week. Like, would it be good to see Cal? Like, how would Callum do against these guys? What about Dean Maiden? Like, he used to be an under 90 guy before he's gone to the 105s. Who would like to see him and McKeegan go at it? Like, and see a bit, like, is it going to be some yeah, it'd be good to see them giving each other stick on Instagram, wouldn't it? What about Pigman Sam? Recently dropped down to 80. He's done the BNSF, the Team Worlds or whatever. He's recently cut down to under 80s to do the Atlas Stone World record loaded 180. But I think I've competed against him loads of times. I think he's brilliant. I think he's absolutely brilliant. And I just think, like, is he too, I don't know, is he too scared to go against these top guys internationally? Like, I'm not sure. Like, I'd like to see how he'd fare. Does he just want to keep being a big fish in a small pond, or does he? I don't know. I'd like to see him. I think he's good. What about Rob Ward? Would you like to see him come back? Would this be something that he's gonna hear about, and, like, yeah, get Rob back competing under 90? Absolutely brilliant. Is this going? Yeah. Who else is there that I've written down? What about the podium from Brits under 80s? Are some of those guys good to ruffle some feathers? What about Tommy Chivers? Would you like to see him go up to under 90 and ruffle some feathers, or do you think he's just going to stay at the under 80s and do the comp the day before? I'm not sure. Would he be good? Would he be good enough? Would Joe Dagwish be good enough, who came second? What about Chris Harper? Chris Harper's posting up some ridiculous lifts on social media at the minute. He's got some massive goals, like for the under 80s, numerous world records that he's aiming to win every comp that he goes to. Like, would you like to see him go against these guys? What about Dean McVie? Dean McVie came third at Worlds, but Chris Harper beat him at Britain's this year. Chris Harper came third. Dean McVie came, what did he come, fifth or sixth or something? Like, would you like to see those two go at it for, like, really, like, who's going to be the strongest Scottish guy? Like, that'd be an interesting battle. Like, who'd like to see those two go at it? It'd be interesting. What about the Clash UK guys? So Tim Dagwish, Flash 3.0. Flash is on the rebuild. Would we like to see Flash do the under 90s, or should he stick to under 80s? He was about 110 kilos recently anyway, so he's probably struggled to make 90. But, like, he's looking good. I'd like to see him do a massive pressing event without cutting a significant amount of weight. I think he's absolutely good, brilliant. What about Rich Molnar? Like, he came podium at England's this year, and he competed at Clash. He's had a horrible injury at Brits. Who would like to sit? But he fancies himself as the name in the hat to be pushing on 400 at 80. So what about if he did a 90s comp? Do you think him and Benson and Ben Donin would be good to go at a max deadlift? What do we think? What about Lewis Blackwood? You think he could be somebody who, I don't know, maybe a heavier scene would suit him better? Maybe slightly heavier weights where it's more about strength and less about, like, for the last couple of years, I've seen him make some mistakes on, like, technical based events rather than it being like a static thing or a pure strength thing why he's been limited. He's always looked strong enough for the performances that I've seen him, but he's always made a mistake, whether it be tripping up on a frame, whether it be messing up a bag throw, whether it be making a mistake on a sandbag loading or whatever. Would a really heavy show suit him? I'm not sure. Like, what about if there was a max deadlift that he's just, I'll be honest with Lewis, I know Lewis pretty well, and he just hasn't got round to learning how to use a deadlift suit. Would we like him to learn how to use a deadlift suit? And what did he pull? 337 raw. Like, is he somebody that could pull? I believe that he could pull 800 pounds at 80. So what about if he didn't have to make weight and he could put on a bit of mass? Could he be pushing Benson and the other guys? I'm not sure. What would we like to see? So out of the guys that I've mentioned, like, who would be your podium out of the guys that have been mentioned so far? Let me know in the comments. What about the the guys that haven't been announced, who would you like to see? Let us know in the comments. So really exciting. If you'd like to help out and put your money where your mouth is, why don't you buy one of these t-shirts instead? So they're just a reasonable price. You can get the name of your favorite athlete who's been announced, like on the back of it, and all the proceeds go towards the show. Like £4,700 so far. Could we, like, what would we need to do to get this to be the biggest of all time? To, I don't know, what is the biggest of all time? Is it Clash 10,000 for? I'm not sure, but there's no reason why this can't be the biggest of all time. So you've all got a role. You can all help out. Go and buy a t-shirt, buy some merchandise. Let me know in the comments who would you like to see me wind up? Who would you like to see me interview? Who would you like me to have guests on, and have a couple of people coming on at the same time, just and me poking them and me chatting to them. Why? It's all going to be beneficial for the sport, isn't it? So yeah, get involved. Message Luke, Pastor Luke Davis. Absolutely brilliant what he's doing. Get to the Kaos thing, get to his link in bio, get to the Kaos website and buy a t-shirt.